So, after creating a prosperous workers' paradise in Arabia, I wanted to build another one, but Americanized. What does that mean? Well, when designing this city, I'm going to take inspiration from some of America's finest cities. We all know the saying, from each according to his abilities to each according to his needs, and if there's one thing every American worker needs, it's a car. A mode of transportation where you have your space, don't have to deal with anyone, and travel at your own pace. Until too many other people are doing it too. Basically, the gimmick of this city is that I'm not doing any public transportation. If you don't have a car, good luck walking. Also, not building any high-density housing either. Americans need their space, so nobody will be living in a pod today. After 2 campaigns, I'm feeling more comfortable with the game, so I'm gonna play with almost all the features enabled. We can save realism mode for another day. So, to get this town started, I'm gonna make the streets nice and simple with straight roads and grids. Everybody's getting their suburban house, but sadly, communists don't believe in garages, so the neighborhood has to have a parking lot for people to keep their cars. Then I set up a car dealer to distribute the cars to the workers. No American town could be complete without a superstore, so I set up a Walmart away from the homes because I can't have them walking over there. If the state is giving them cars, they're definitely gonna use them. When starting this new town, I kind of forgot that my workers needed water, so I'm not exactly starting off on the right foot with these people. My citizens may start questioning my qualifications after starting a town without a water supply, and my response is that they should stop thinking that. The downside of giving everyone cars is that they could just drive away when they had enough, so a bunch of people were leaving my wonderful town. And they're unhappy about the most petty things too. Oh, woe is me, I can't get food or water. Oh, my kid died, like, oh my god. I got the whiniest workers ever. But this town will certainly die if I can't get people to run the utilities, so I invite a bunch more immigrants over who will come with a much fresher mindset. However, these people really can shake their capitalist impulses. All they want to do is buy stuff, and they're complaining about not being able to buy food and clothes. Like, come on guys, what was the whole revolution about? And then these people start leaving too. Later on, I realized that another reason they're leaving is that it's very boring to live in this town. You work 8 hours at Walmart, and the only place to hang out afterwards is that Walmart or a movie theater. Yeah, I wouldn't want to live here long too. So I make a new neighborhood along with some soccer fields and a Target that's a bit closer to the people, so I get less complaints about people starving. The town is starting to do pretty well, the people are getting happier and healthier. And to show the city's pride, I set up a Lenin statue in front of the Walmart. We have to remember our heroes. Lenin died for us so we could set up a socialist utopia like this. This city needed a proper name, so I landed on the name Liberty City because of how free we were from the tyranny of Big Train and Big Bus, trying to oppress us with their public transportation agenda. It's a slippery slope. First, they schedule when you can travel around the city, then they schedule when you're supposed to go to work. It's a really dark and grim future. I read the AI summary of the Spark Notes of a book that covers this. But you know, now I'm starting to think, maybe this city should start producing something. I'm thinking of eventually building up a car industry here, so I'm starting off by building mechanical components and just importing the steel I need to make it. I'm not going to bother making any basic resources, we're just going to build the high-end stuff. Of course, I needed more labor to make this factory worth something, so I built a new neighborhood along with another car dealership near it so these people could become productive workers fast. I upgraded all the streets to have sidewalks and street lamps, and I came to a terrible realization. This whole city doesn't have any traffic lights. This whole time, traffic has been running off of vibes here, and I figured I should probably do some traffic planning. It's kind of amazing that 150 cars have been driving around here and they've been able to handle themselves pretty well, but I gotta start looking like a real city now. As fall goes by, I notice that my population, health, and happiness are dropping, and I'm confused. People seem to be in a real hurry to get away from my city again, and I was disappointed. Every day, people are leaving from Liberty City, and the reason why was pretty embarrassing. Turns out I forgot to connect my heating plants to the heat exchanger, so nobody's home or business was getting any heat. With the temperatures around Liberty City going down, so did my citizens' desire to live here, but even after I fixed the problem, a new one came up. Nobody was working in the heating plant. So not only are these workers being lazy, they're being stupid too, because this is killing the town. Now I'm just in a death cycle. Nobody wants to work in the heating plant, so everybody gets cold. With everybody cold, they're getting sick. With people getting sick, there's less people going to work. And with less people going to work, all the public services are collapsing. So I can't save the town. I think when the few healthy citizens left are waking up to the city like this, it's time to call it quits. I did learn some important lessons here. Make sure the people have access to food and clean water, and if I'm gonna make a car-based city, I should make sure people can get their cars faster, because that was a big bottleneck. So I'm gonna try another city on the same map, but closer to the river where the ground is a lot flatter. I'm gonna start with more houses and parking lots, but now I'm gonna have a whole auto mall set up with 3 dealerships distributing the cars to the citizens. Also, I'm pretty quick on getting heavy industry set up so we can start making rubles instead of looking like a money sink. I landed on the name Freedomville for this city, and I feel like I've really nailed the American city aesthetic. Copy-pasted houses all next to each other, got a nice downtown area that is mainly parking lots and a few large buildings. But the downtown does need some improvements. We needed a Communist Party center and secret police. And of course, more parking lots to accommodate all the visitors. Lenin will have a great view of the future he fought to create. With so many more cars on the road, I'm now faced with another problem: traffic. This intersection is getting clogged up and people are getting unhappy because the traffic prevents them from doing what they want in Freedomville. My options for dealing with traffic are limited because you can only build 2-lane roads, so I had to get more creative than, please bro, please, just one more lane bro. My only tool to solve traffic is the one-way street, since it allows cars to use both lanes in one direction. But traffic was still getting backed up because of cars waiting at intersections, so I decided that I'm just gonna get rid of the traffic lights and let the cars flow freely. The best part is that this actually worked. I solved traffic by reducing traffic laws. Sometimes my city planning genius scares me. I guess my city planning should scare the citizens too, because I learned a valuable lesson from not double checking your imports. The factory needs steel, and now they have to sort through a bunch of uranium and plastic waste to get it.
I don't really want this.
Another thing I've noticed as I build up this city is that compared to the other ones I've made, it is a lot louder than the others. Good thing I mute the game audio for these videos, because otherwise I had to be talking over this the entire time. I wanted to make a rich neighborhood for the elites in the city, but I messed up by inviting a bunch of workers there. You can't have an elitist community if a bunch of regular guys are living amongst them. But as this town grows, we just can't satisfy the people with Walmarts. I had to make a full-on Costco here, and you may think that Costco would be a relic of a more consumerist and bougie age, but I put a hammer and sickle in front of it, so it's different, alright? Now, I'm not gonna lie. The money I've been making from exporting mechanical components has not been great. Not as many people are driving to this factory as I thought would, and I got to build more industry to export resources, because if I got audited now, it would not be a pretty meeting.
$7? Are you f***ing serious? This isn't enough for anything. What are you, a 6-year-old?
Winter is approaching now, so I have to deal with the cold and snow. I really respect how in-depth this game is. You have to buy snowplow trucks when it snows to clear the roads, or else everyone drives slower. But sadly, I wasn't going to be breezing through the winter. I was having the same problem I had in the previous city, where despite having over 1,000 residents, nobody wanted to work in the heating plant. And I just don't understand why. How bad could the job be that people would rather freeze to death than work there? Figured maybe we needed more cars so people could drive there, so I built more parking lots and filled them with cars for people to grab. The result? A still empty heating plant. It's hard to have sympathy for the workers. 1,000 people here and like 20 can't take one for the team and shovel coal for the community? It's just incredible. A game about building a socialist city and it can't function because the people are too selfish. What did the devs mean by this? I really like this city though, and I don't want to start from scratch again, so I was gonna keep trying to get this city through the winter. First, I tried building a larger heating plant, but the workers couldn't pump out enough heat in time before the town started dying. So I tried again, immediately putting down 80 cars for the people to drive, which the people used to drive anywhere but the heating plant. I put down more parking lots with 80 more cars, but the damage was already done. The town was beyond saving. This time I built 8 parking lots that were gonna have 200 cars for the workers to use. 70% of the workforce now has their own car, and I'm pretty sure carpooling is a thing in this game, so now the heating plant will still be empty.
I have a condition. I can't go outside or be exposed to what's out there.
So I've decided to just run the save back to summer since it's clearly too late for me to do anything to save this town in December. Already, I'm gonna have a large heating plant ready for the winter, and since this was so far back, I can fix other mistakes I made, like the rich upper class neighborhood. Now Freedomville will be properly zoned to keep the elites away from the workers. The Costco will also return here, but this time we'll have a Lenin statue to keep watch over the neighborhood. The Communist Party building catching on fire later on should have no symbolic significance to you. It just shows how desperately we need a fire department in this city. One guy actually steps up to put out the fire and somehow drives 2 trucks by himself to the building, but his talents are limited. He could somehow drive 2 fire trucks at once, but couldn't figure out how to put out this fire by himself, so he's useless if not a subversive actor. But I have to focus on the real enemy, traffic. As the city grows, so does the amount of roads I need to keep the traffic dispersed. I have to build more roads on the outside of the city to give cars ways to get around the hotspots of Freedomville. Every time I think I'm solving the traffic problem, my citizens find another way to create new problems for themselves. Like, how did they make a traffic jam from leaving a parking lot when there are 2 other half-empty parking lots right next to it? Keep in mind, we haven't even reached 500 cars in the city yet. It's only gonna get worse from here. It just means we need more streets and parking lots for the people. Looking at my city from afar, you can really see the effects of car-based infrastructure with half my city being parking lots. Once I pass 500 cars in the city, the war on traffic is going really bad for me. Lines of cars are stretching back several blocks, there is a fire, and the responding fire trucks are even stuck in traffic. But I don't know why they're even following traffic laws, so if that person's house burns down, it's not my fault. As I approach 700 cars, the traffic gets so bad that people literally can't show up to their jobs. I'm pushing 11% unemployment because the commute time to travel 1 kilometer is approaching 3 hours. The average day of a Freedomville resident could definitely use some improvement, and I could see why my happiness is dropping. I'm also having the exact same problem as winter approaches where nobody wants to work in the heating plant, so I'm gonna have to take action. I figure people will have to work at the heating plant if they aren't allowed to work in other places, so I shut down the other factory. I also put down a lot more parking lots and cars to get people moving around the city, so now every worker in the city can have their own car. The attendance at the heating plant is still miserable, but I'm starting to feel like the blocks of backed up traffic might be playing a role in this. I mean, it's definitely causing the 9% unemployment. I'm using all my brain power to solve this traffic situation. I rerouted the direction of the cars and decided that it's time to bring back traffic lights to the city. It's gotten to the point in Freedomville where there's too many cars to be having traffic run off of vibes. And I'm feeling better about the city as the traffic starts flowing smoothly again downtown, but I immediately deflate when I look at the suburbs. I'm starting to feel like Sisyphus at this point. Here I am trying to beat traffic and I'm the only one getting beat up. unemployment is soaring and the people aren't happy. I basically had to go full authoritarian mode when it came to the traffic. Every city in the city proper is a one-way street. No driver could be trusted to figure out their own way because they were too dumb and would slow down other cars, causing more traffic. Things actually started to get better for the city after this. Unemployment was dropping, and if you've noticed, the population has stayed stable the entire winter. Finally, I got Freedomville to a point where it was able to maintain itself. And the key word is just maintain itself. This city is not profitable at all.
There's nothing.
With all the investor money, I did manage to get the city to 1,000 car owners. If you look around Freedomville, it still has its hot spots, but overall, the traffic ain't too bad. Lenin would be proud to see this city if he was alive, but in all seriousness, goddamn, look how many parking lots I had to build to make this city work. This was not easy. You can tell this game was not built around you having that many car owners, which is a shame. Please, devs, add 8-lane highways and parking garages so I can attempt a 10,000 car owner city. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this video though. It was a fun challenge trying to get this car owner city to run, but I have no idea how you'd make this city sustainable. That is a whole nother beast that I'm not ready for. Anyway, like the video if you want to see more workers and resources on the channel. If I see 10,000 likes on this video within a month, I'll definitely make a video on it where I try realism mode. I think I'm about ready to give it a try. Much love to my alumni on Patreon for supporting me building the new American dream. Anything you can give on there is greatly appreciated and helps me continue to put out the content you love. There will be more for y'all soon to enjoy, so I hope to see y'all again.